I'm Jason Epperson. This is RV Miles, and it's time for the latest in RV and camping news. First up, of course, there's been some devastating destruction in the Southeast after Hurricane Helene. The death toll continues to rise, over 100 people so far. These are areas you're going to want to avoid traveling to anytime soon. There are tons of closed roads. Great Smoky Mountain National Park is essentially closed. Asheville, North Carolina has been just decimated. If you had plans for fall travels to some of these areas that have been affected, please consider staying away. Many RV parks and campgrounds have been completely destroyed. Others are going to be dealing with falling debris and washed out roads for weeks. KOA alone had 50 parks in the path of the hurricane, which brought unprecedented rainfall to some areas of Georgia and the Carolinas, up to 30 inches in some places. We'll get to the rest of the news in a second, but first, this episode is sponsored by our friends over at RVmattress.com by Brooklyn Bedding, where you can get a real mattress for your RV from a real mattress company. Not a cheap bed in a box, not the piece of junk that came with it from the manufacturer, a real mattress that you just bring inside your RV, you open it up, let it unroll and expand. They even have hybrid versions with springs inside them. Now, there's been some back and forth about the discount offered to RV Miles viewers and listeners. The last couple episodes, I talked about how they're offering 5% off over whatever 25% discount they may be offering on the site. Well, that was apparently too much to implement. So now, instead, just 30% off all the time. It's the best deal you're going to get anywhere. 30% off an RV mattress at rvmattress.com with the code RVMiles at rvmattress.com/RVMiles. You get a real mattress from a real company. You can get them in all the different sizes they put in RVs, the different thicknesses, and we, no joke, have at least 10 of them. We've got them in both of our RVs, and we've got them in our home as well for our bed and for our kids' beds. They are fantastic mattresses, and I've never heard a negative thing from anybody who has bought one using our code. They have a 120-night sleep trial. Their mattresses are made in their factory in Arizona, shipped to you wherever you are, and they're toxin-free as well. Again, rvmattress.com/RVMiles with the code RVMiles for 30% off your next RV mattress. A pair of pieces of legislation have been passed in the state of California that are going to affect RV owners and campers in some big ways. Bill AB 1755 was signed into law by Governor Gavin Newsom on Monday, which will dramatically change the state's lemon law, which is notably one of the few lemon laws that also applies to RVs. In fact, it applies to virtually all consumer products. Lemon laws allow consumers to sue for a replacement or refund if the manufacturer or dealer can't fix issues with a new vehicle within a reasonable time period. These lawsuits have dramatically increased in California in the past few years. The number of lemon law cases in California courts climbed from nearly 15,000 in 2022 to more than 22,000 last year. In Los Angeles County, nearly 10% of all civil filings are now lemon law cases. So the goal of this bill was to reduce the burden on the judicial system because these lemon law cases are clogging everything up. But the bill was written and passed in a really sneaky way. It started off as a bill dealing with child support. And then, with less than 2 weeks left in the legislative session, the language was stripped and replaced with 4,200 words dealing with lemon laws. It's called a gut and amend move, and it allows some secret negotiations. It keeps a bill from being discussed in the open and commented on by advocacy groups and the public. The text is very complicated, so much so that the legislative analysis that accompanied it was more than 10,000 words. So, what does it do? Well, as I said, it's complicated. In order to reduce caseloads, the prime function seems to be to focus on mediation. Vehicle owners would be required to go through a mediator before beginning the discovery process that takes place after a lawsuit is filed. Discovery is when parties in the lawsuit gather evidence from each other. It requires owners to notify the manufacturer in writing to try to get them to resolve the dispute before a lawsuit can be filed. So you can't just go back to the dealer. You actually have to write a letter to the manufacturer. And most notably for RVers, it would shorten the statute of limitations for filing a lemon law case to just 1 year after the warranty expires. Right now, it's 4 years after you find out you have a claim. For a car owner, that might not be as big of a deal because the warranty is longer. But most RV warranties are only a year, so you'd have to file a case in the first 2 years of ownership. The bill was heavily supported by General Motors in particular, and most other U.S. automakers, as well as the RV Industry Association, who was a big player in this process. One consumer advocate asserted that the manufacturers are trying to reduce the warranty compliance costs, that the shorter statute of limitations could allow manufacturers to make a cheaper stopgap repair. It also reduces the amount a manufacturer has to pay once a claim is successful. Manufacturers would no longer have to pay off the amount people may still owe on a lemon vehicle. So some owners with negative equity may not be able to get a buyback unless they can come up with thousands of dollars up front. Again, that's something that's going to be particularly difficult for RV owners whose vehicles depreciate significantly faster than automobiles. But the bill isn't entirely anti consumer. While consumer advocacy groups oppose it, consumer attorney groups support it, as it will help consumers get resolution faster. Some automakers oppose the bill as well, particularly foreign automakers and Tesla, who makes 1 in every 8 cars sold in California. The bill requires automakers to respond to a consumer complaint in just 30 days, and it would require them to fix a defective vehicle or replace it within 30 days after that. That's going to be a real problem for RV manufacturers and dealers who struggle to get repairs done quickly, especially major RV repairs. A GM lobbyist told lawmakers that they believe you'll see an increase in buybacks of vehicles within that 60-day period, which won't even have a lawsuit filed as a part of it. So in the end, it's not entirely clear what the actual effect of this law will be, but it's on the net likely a negative for consumers. California still will have one of the strongest lemon laws in the nation, particularly for RVs, because most states don't cover them at all. California is also now the first state to ban the sale of propane cylinders that cannot be refilled or reused. You know, the little 1-pound green propane bottles. Single-use propane canisters are popular with consumers due to their portability. However, they're a real problem, especially in states where a lot of people camp, like California. Many recyclers won't even accept them. More than 4 million single-use propane tanks are sold annually in California alone, according to the California Product Stewardship Council, yet only 1 million are recycled. In Yosemite National Park, volunteers count and categorize the canisters before shredding them in a special machine explicitly purchased for that purpose. The park handled 24,000 canisters last year. A lot of people will refill these using a 20-pound tank. You just turn it upside down and there's a little adapter. They even sell it at Walmart, but they're not made for that. In fact, it's illegal to travel with them once they've been refilled. I'll admit, though, I used to do it. I stopped when I had a couple leak on me. It's not worth it. You can, though, buy 1-pound propane bottles that are meant to be refilled. In fact, that's what Yosemite now sells in their camp stores, and they even have an exchange program. Or you can just get an adapter hose for a larger 20-pound tank that you exchange at Walmart or whatever. I have a 5-pound tank that I really like, and I refill it when I refill my RV tanks. This is probably something we're going to see more of going forward, as a lot of organizations are pointing to these disposable propane bottles as a problem in many states, especially since the recent camping boom. This law doesn't take effect until 2028, so not much to worry about right now. It also does not ban the isobutane canisters that a lot of backpackers use. Earlier this year, we reported that the Oregon State Legislature approved the authority for the Oregon Parks and Recreation Department to raise camping fees. Well, now those increases have been decided upon and have been made official. The following new camping rates will take effect October 15th for all reservations made for 2025. So if you're making reservations in Oregon, get them done before October 15th and you'll pay less. A $3 increase for tent sites and primitive sites, a $4 increase for RV sites, and a $5 increase for cabins and yurts. Camping rates vary by location and season, but currently they range from $17 to $38 per night before the increases. Starting January 1st, online reservation fees will also increase from $8 to $10 per site. And starting July 1st, out-of-state visitors will pay a 25% surcharge on all camping sites. That surcharge already exists, but it only currently applies to RV sites. Going forward, it will apply to tent sites as well. Park fees make up about 35% of the budget for Oregon State Parks. About half of the department's funding comes from lottery funds, and another 15% comes from RV license plate fees. The state offers free camping and day use passes for Oregon foster parents, active U.S. military members, and U.S. veterans with a service-connected disability. Camping fees last increased in Oregon in 2017. The world's largest truck stop, the Iowa 80 truck stop on Interstate 80 in Walcott, Iowa, just 20 minutes from me actually, is about to be dethroned. The new largest truck stop is set to open just off Interstate 90 in West Dundee, Illinois. That's in the Chicago area. And it's being built on top of a closed landfill. It'll have parking for, get this, 1,000 trucks. The Iowa 80 truck stop is no slouch, though, with spaces for 900, and they can still claim that they're larger by acreage. The new truck stop's amenities are kind of unknown and yet to be seen, and the operator says most of them won't open until the spring anyway. Meanwhile, the Iowa 80 truck stop offers 8 restaurants, a convenience store, gift shop, truck parts and accessories showroom, a barber shop, a chiropractor, a dentist, a movie theater, a workout room, laundry facilities, a truck wash, pet wash, and a trucking museum. That's it for this week's RV and Camping News Roundup. Please let me know what you thought about this week's stories in the comments below. Hey, if you want to support the content that we make here, consider becoming a Mile Marker member. It's $7 a month or $70 a year, and you get additional podcasts from Abby and I and more like that. Plus, we do a Mile Marker live stream every single month. We're actually going to open that live stream up to everybody over on the RV Miles podcast channel for the one that is coming up on this coming Monday, which is the 7th? The 7th? Yeah, this coming Monday, the 7th. So we hope to see you there. Head over to the RV Miles podcast channel and subscribe over there if you want to get notified when that comes up. Thanks so much for being here, everybody. Hit the like button if you got something out of this video. Subscribe if you want more like it, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye, everybody.